Hi everyone. First of all, thank you to the lead dev for this fantastic opportunity, and to all of you for being here. As Pat has said, I'm Marina. I'm coming from Barcelona, but my roots are in Ibiza, a tiny island in Spain. I'm in my 19 years journey as a coder. The last 6 has been managing teams or leading teams in different positions. Right now, and since August, I'm a manager at Cabify in a team of 6 developers, also having people on remote, as in the last ones. And today, I want to share with you some of the activities that help me build bridges beyond the screen to improve team buildings on remote teams, basically. Before we dive in, let me explain what team buildings activities are for me, and why I think using them to improve team buildings are so crucial. So you can find a lot of definitions on the internet. Mine is that it's an activity that helps you to improve team bond and team spirits, first of all. And with that, activity after activity, you also encourage trust, respect, team morale, and the feeling of appreciation between the teammates. And this is really important because you need them to trust each other if you want other things to work out. So when you have these 2 first things, good team bond and good team spirit, and never before that, you can start improving a teamwork skill, either if it's communication, collaboration, creativity, innovation, wherever. So the key for those activities is to choose the goal. What do you want to improve with this activity? If it's communication, if it's collaboration, you are not going to choose a competitive game. You want them to collaborate, not to run. So you need to have the goal, and that's all. Does this mean that when you have everything of this working fine, you will start doing team building activities? I'm sorry, but no. We have not talked about the employee engagement. This is really important. You want them to keep wanting working with you and working all of them together. So on one hand, apart from that, teams evolve. Okay, so anyway you think that you have everything working fine, sometimes something can fail. Something can change, so you need to keep working on that. And is that everything? Again, no. I have not included them in this slide because they are not exactly a direct gain of a team building activity per se, but when you work on them continuously, team building activities are so worth boosting company culture, bringing out hidden talents. I have found myself finding that some developers that doesn't want to lead teams, they are really good leaders. But sometimes you just discover them doing some activities. And even attracting new talent. They will talk about the fun they have. They will talk about what they learn. So that will attract talent also to your company. So now that you have all of this in mind, this is why I think they are so important. I want you to understand when team buildings, this talk is focused on remote team buildings. And for that, we must travel to the past. Don't worry, not really far away, just 5 years will be enough. Before COVID, we used to work side by side with our peers, 8 hours a day. If you want to pair program, you just go, move your chair, and sit behind him or near to him. You go out together to eat or eat lunch in the office kitchen. Afterwards, you go and have some beers, and most of the times end up having the dinner together. I can go on and on with examples, but I'm sure that some of them at least has rung a bell on you. So because of this, the team bond, it was basically organic. So you don't have to work really much to have the team working fine in this aspect. So from time to time, maybe you get some team building activity to improve something work skill like room escape or this or hand or something like that. But team bond per se was mostly done. So let's not get too nostalgic. They were good times, but we have really good things with remote working right now. So let's get back to the present. After COVID, we have 3 different scenarios, more basically, okay? And with their own challenge. One of them are on-site teams or hybrid teams, because all of them are mostly in the same area, so sometimes you just go to the office and work all together, or you work always together. Then teams that are fully remote, but part of the team and only part of them is sharing the area. And then teams that are fully remote and completely in different areas, probably abroad. So I want to ask you all, which of them do you think that represents more challenge? If you think that is the first group, the ones that are on-site or hybrids, just raise your hand, please. Okay, few of you. Now, raise your hand the ones that you think that is the second group. Okay. And the ones that think that is the third group. Okay, that's great. I'm still in doubt with the second and the third, and it's the ones that I have been working with the last 6 years. And I will tell you why. They share a lot of things, but they have also some difference. And this is why the talk is focused on the remote ones. So I was going to explain all of this as a storyline, but going through words and when I add an activity or when I change it and why, but if I do this, the talk is more than 40 minutes, so it's impossible. So I have picked 4 activities that I wanted to share with you, and why I added them, and when I did some changes, why I did them. There will not all of them be success. I will share with you activities that were a failure, but that I have some learnings from it. So to make sure that you understand why I put the first activity, I need you to understand or to explain you that when COVID has came, it was really hard. I think that everybody can relate to that. We have a lot of lockdown. We went out to spend a lot of time outside and having time with our peers, like 8 hours a day, as I said before, to be at home close up. Sometimes with the family, but some people just alone completely. And humans are social creatures. Maybe some of them more than others. I'm really shy. But having to be just not seeing the friends or the family was hard also. So with that, and when that time came, the team started to have the team spirit, the morale went from sailing to the ground, okay? So I started thinking what we can do, or I can do. So the first thing we tried was that, a team virtual breakfast, as easy and simple as that. We gather in a meeting room, in a meeting call, Monday mornings. We talk about the weekend, and it was pretty fine because the team was working already together before COVID. So we just gathered together, as we will do in the coffee machine. So one of the things that went outward for this is when a new member joins the team during the lockdown. That member was really, really shy. And one day, the first day that he came to the coffee, I tried to talk with him. And you can see that he was really, really having a bad moment for me asking him. So I just changed. I told to another person and give him a space. That person has not stopped coming to the coffees. He came. every week, but doesn't share anything. Until one day, I think it was like 4 or 5 coffees after, he decided to talk and to share. So that day I did really learn to not push and do not force people to participate. You have to give them a space and time. Sometimes it's easy to say than to do. Okay? Then I changed. I have done the team breakfast in like 5 teams already. For now, it has always been a win. Sometimes harder than others, but the next team I done it that I have made a change was in a team. I moved from another company, and my team was really different. I ended up only remote, people that doesn't met them in person, never. I have 5 developers, and they are from 4 different countries, having 3 different time zones. So, as you can imagine, it was not a breakfast for everybody, okay? So we decided to change the name, and I put it as a team coffee, okay? Is that name the most precise? No, I'm sure not, because, for example, I was not always drinking coffee, but it was fair enough, okay? So it will still continue evolving, but at least it includes everyone in the team, okay? So you always have to take into account that words and language matters. You have to make it inclusive. If you want all of them to participate and feel part of the team, you need to make that these team meetings are for all of them. Okay, so do you remember some slides ago that I told you that it's not good to push people and that we do not have to force them to participate? Okay, sometimes you don't have 1 month to wait to somebody to speak and to participate, and you have to rush it a bit even you don't want to. So I would like to highlight the participate, because I mean participate actively, not coming to the meeting, just talk, okay? So in another team, I had the breakfast, and with this team, I was really in a hurry to fix the team. I need them to start collaborating and to start communicating and trusting each other, so I need them to participate. So it was particularly because before I entered the company, the designer has started already to have a breakfast. He puts it on Friday, just before leaving, but nobody went to that meeting. They don't want to go. So I came in and I asked him if I can move the meeting from Friday to Monday, because we have the planning. Just put the coffee before the planning, and let's see. I invite everybody, and guess what? Nobody came to that meeting. So next week, I changed it, and I put the coffee after the planning. They came to the planning, so they were already connected online with all the team. So they just need to stay in the call. Guess what? Every dev flew off that meeting, saying that they have really urgent things to do. And they were right. We were having a rough time. We were delayed on features delivery. We have a chaos in some other aspects. So they were right. They have that urge. So I keep thinking what I can do. And what I did is that I didn't like how the ritual of the planning were, because they have the planning every week, and there was an hour. And from that hour, the most of the time, they were just discussing technical things. So I just changed the planning. I removed the coffee from the calendar. I put it as the first topic of the planning, just a chit-chat, not time blocked. It will be not half an hour. It will just be the time we need to talk. Maximum 30 minutes. And the other 30 minutes I will be moderating the planning to make sure that there are no discussions and that we attach to the plan. So they keep having 1 hour blocked in the calendar. So the first time, only half of the team participate actively in that meeting. The next time, a little bit more. And just last week, I have to stop them at the 30 minutes. So this ritual has been kind of a win. I'm not really proud on what I have to do because I have to trick them. And I'm not proud of the solution. But sometimes you really have to push a bit. Okay? So that other ritual, I don't know if you know or any of you know GatherTown. It gets out in May 2020. It really looks really cool. You can create your office, emulate it, and you just move around the office, approach somebody else, and a video call starts. So it looks cool. Maybe the first days. When it was the new toy, everybody used it. But after a few days, a week or two most, we stopped using it. We get bored. It doesn't give us something new, different from a Slack or a Zoom. So this was a failure, yes, for sure. But we get one good thing from it, the use of webcams. The first time when COVID came, I don't know you, but almost everybody was in their pajamas working, so they don't put the webcam on. Managers were fed up trying them to put the webcam and asking them to do it, but nobody did. It's like something up top asking us to do this. We don't want. But the thing is that the requests keep coming or start coming from their peers. They don't want to keep seeing the letters or the picture. They want to see them. And then they start using the webcam. So in that case, it was a failure as an activity, but it was really cool because we get that at least. So the next thing I do, it was adding icebreakers in retrospectives before we start with the gather insights and everything. And every retrospective, as I tell you at the beginning, choose the activity you want depending on the goal. So in the teams that I want them to meet or that are new teams, I just use icebreakers to let them know each other better. But when I want to improve communication, maybe some board game about communications, in that case, and the example is with the Kartik phone, I will give you two examples, one good and one bad. Okay? The first one was the good. I have a team that has been working together a lot of time, but that last sprint, we get really, really a tough sprint because things were delayed because of a third party. We were really tight on times. They were really stressed out, and I want them to focus in the retrospective. So I normally run a mood meter to know how they feel, and then the icebreaker. That time I already know that they are stressed out, so I don't need the mood meter for that. So I get the time and do a retrospective, an icebreaker that was longer, and we use Gartic phone. I just ask them to put a sentence that represents how the last sprint went for them. So the sentence could be the most horrible thing you see, but I don't know if you have played, but it's like you put a sentence, then you draw, and it gets working. So the last animation was so fun that everybody starts the retrospective with a good mood. So sometimes the activities can just be make them change the mood to be focused on the meeting. We need you to focus, okay? So in this case, this was a good example. Let me give you another one that it wasn't. In the team that I told you before, that I have the team already working all together, and then a new member came, okay, I do an icebreaker about books, because one of my favorite days of the year is the book day. So it was April's month, that is when book day is, at least in Spain. And I just do a thematic retrospective about books. And the icebreaker was something like, share the last book you read, you're currently reading, and the next one. So I was looking for my books, and the newest members just pinged me like, hey, can I do it from a series or a film? I was like, yeah, of course, why? And no, I just don't like reading, and I have not read anything since I was a child. So it's like, okay, yeah, of course. So it was not really a failure. He was just happy and just changed the theme. But for me, it was because normally I take into consideration that everybody can participate, and this time I fail. Okay. So now, if I do some book or St. George theme retrospective, I change it a bit. So not more like childhood stories or something like that. So in general, adding icebreakers has been a win. Okay. Sometimes I have to give you an example that fails. I think that in the last 4 years, I have like 4 that have failed. But everything is just keep experimenting and trying. So things to have into consideration when you do icebreakers or any team building activity, even if it's remote or physical. The culture and the religion of the persons of the team. Okay? When I have only Spanish members Spanish members, I can do a Christmas retrospective with no problem. But when you have people from other countries or other religions, doing that retrospective could not work. Okay? So take that into consideration. Also, color blindness, the physical form. If you are doing one activity on site, take that into consideration, please. And the personality. There are some activities. I have seen a retrospective that the icebreaker is a karaoke. So I imagine myself doing a karaoke with my team members, and I can say I will not participate. I will be too embarrassed. So just take that into consideration and make sure that everybody can be there and participate. So the next one are online afterwards. I must confess that I have tried this in 3 teams. While they were in the lockdown, it was really, really good. Once we don't have the lockdown and they are not only remote teams, it has not worked so well. Okay? So the first time was during COVID. It has worked really, really well with the PHP Guild. Because that time I was a manager for the PHP chapter, and I was also in a team. I tried it in both sides. In the PHP Guild, it was amazing. It runs really well. For the team, it doesn't. They doesn't want to participate, so we just remove it and don't do it. Okay? So the third time I tried to do it, I cannot say if it's a win or not because I left the company before I can say we have run it so many times. But it was a remote team, fully remote is the one I tell you that I have 4 different countries in the same team. And the times I ran it, it was really good. And the feedback I get from it, it was really good. But as I tell you, in the PHP Guild, everything went well while we were remote. But there were a time that we went back to the office. But not all of us, because COVID has came and remote has been a thing, so we have started hiring outside, at least outside of the city for sure. Okay? So for my team, we were almost 1 person only out of Spain. So the things doesn't change a lot when we went back to the office. But for the PHP Guild, it was really different. And these are the changes that we have. For the team, almost nothing changed. Because organically, when we were in the office, the part that were in Barcelona, we do everything like as we were on remote. Okay? So except for seeing each other, everything keeps going. But for the PHP Guild, it was really different. We start doing again a meeting that we do before COVID in the office, and half of the team, well, half no, a quarter of the team were outside, but travels were not allowed. So we end up being 14 persons in the office, 6 persons abroad. The persons in the office, we tried to do it in a meeting all together with the setup, only one cam, only the one TV, just the speaker. It was a nightmare, okay? So after the trials, we start doing the meeting, but everybody with his laptop and with headphones. And one thing is that the online afterwards, we stopped doing them because we start doing beers after that meeting because it was once a month. And the remote persons, we try to keep the after work, but it doesn't work, okay? So to wrap it up, because also I'm late, these were the learnings, okay? So choose the goal for each activity, okay? Work on improving one thing at a time. It doesn't mean that you cannot add 2 activities or start doing 2 or 3 things, but focus on one goal. Okay, don't try to fit everything at the same time. Don't force people to participate, give space, think on an activity that everybody can enjoy and participate. If even a single person is remote, act as all of you are, okay? Always webcam on. Use all the tools you have available. There are a lot of things in the internet you can use for remote activities, and experiment. If the experiment doesn't went well, iterate, stop doing it, learn from the failures, but don't stop experimenting. Okay, you will take great things from it. And I wanted to share this quote with you. I'm sure that it's kind of related with this talk. I'm sure that in some points you will be hired if you are not doing it already. Getting good players is really easy, okay? But you have to make this good player to be a team player, and this is really hard. So think of that when you are hiring. And this, I will share this slide, so here I leave some resources for you, and thank you all. Don't hesitate to approach to me and talk to me when on the office break later, and if not, Twitter or LinkedIn. Okay, thank you.